suit his style of wrestling, but at least it would have been something better than the kind of stale thing we get from him now in Titus Worldwide.
Oh, it's terrible. And, he was, at this time, he was unique, but now it's nothing special because they make him do it every night, which just takes it away from you. It's kind of what I call the Rob Van Dam effect, which is, I always revert that back to people just come to expect it in every single match, all those things he was doing, because unfortunately, he sometimes little is more, less is more, and sometimes guys just give it their all, and the problem is it becomes too normal, which is a big shame. But at this point, not many people had seen Apollo's at this point. In fact, I'm going to hazard a guess this was one of his first matches, Matt, at this point in NXT, as I recall.
And,
look at the fans, man, they're loving it.
Very agile and athletic.
Yeah.
And, looking at this, I think this is better than anything we've really seen on him on Raw.
Yeah,
I don't know
it is.
He's being restricted or what's going on with that, but this is definitely better than we see on him these days.
It is, because they capitalised on his strengths and left out his weaknesses, This whole match was booked around him very nicely. Even Ty Dillinger here would, had something going on at least. Like I say, the unfortunate thing for Apollo, which is kind of surprising because NXT do always normally do a good job, but there wasn't much development going on with his character, Matt, and before you knew it, he was up to the main roster. A total shame for him, but such a talented guy. But I remember being super excited this night to see him, and the fact that WWE had acquired somebody like him. Like, you got to remember, this was a time, Matt, where WWE were just starting to do the signings, Matt, from the indies. Like, they'd only just got Samoa Joe. This was Joe's first big pay-per-view match, as I recall, when they first brought him in, and that was quite a big feat, Matt, because up until that point, Joe was the first guy they'd kind of got from the sort of well-known TNA crowd. He was the first off the batch, if you will, that they got. And then it sort of, I don't know if it just opened the door for TNA guys to think, hang on, there is a place for us. We can go to NXT because they're paying Joe well. And they signed him up nicely, so.
And that was the other great thing about Joe when he came in was he got to keep his name.
That's a good point.
Persona.
Yeah,
so other wrestlers looking at that would think, what a great opportunity. I can come in and I can still maintain my identity, and if it doesn't work out, I can come out and leave NXT, but I'll still carry some of that worldwide exposure with me as well.
Yep, absolutely. That's a great point. And these two, again, on paper you think to yourself, this isn't a big match, but even these two, for what it was, as far as I remember, I was super excited, at least in the live crowd, watching this, because again, it's a bit of an unknown quantity here. I was excited to see what he would do. I knew that Ty Dillinger would play the role as the sort of, the guy, the nasty sort of heel, if you will. Other than his entrance, of course, at this point, because people were well into that. Which goes to prove my point, because people say that Vince didn't see Bobby Roode as a heel because fans cheer his entrance, but man, when it got bell to bell, they didn't cheer him all that much anyway. So it's like, it was just the entrance. It can work. It's another proven thing now, and I'm pretty sure Bobby Roode as a heel would be so much better now if that was the case.
I can't even listen to the Bobby Roode talk, because I'm just looking. I hear the guy's name now, and I'm just thinking, how long is it before he's on his way out? Because it's just so tragic what they've done with him. It's misuse of a guy. He was like at one time the hottest prospect in NXT, and they just ruined it.
Some great height on that. That was big at the time.
Oh, here we go. This is a fond memory here. Climb the turnbuckle.
Oh, this is it.
Show us your muscles.
I wondered what he was referring to. Now I remember. In fact, I had this chat. We had RJ Singh, British wrestler. We had him on. I was talking to him about this exact moment, and even he couldn't believe it either on the podcast when we were reviewing some of this stuff. And yeah, it was quite odd, Matt, that we saw a referee on the outside, this referee in fact, just telling him when to pose and when not to pose, wait for the replays to finish and then go again. And not just telling him, but actually showing him as well, Matt.
We want to see this pose. Come on, dude.
Yeah, that happened a lot. And as I recall, on Raw when we were there, Matt, like they even had guys running up the entranceway because they were going to get in the way of the camera for the next guy. After he'd been beating the crap out of in the match, he just suddenly starts sprinting. There we are, there's a smile, Matt. There it is.
That's a shame. Yeah, kind of looking behind the
Keep going, more. He's smiling. More. I love it. I love that one. There we see William Regal. Of course, he was the sort of part of it, wasn't he, back there, Matt, where he was the commissioner, or was he the general manager?
Still is.
Yeah.
We don't see him as much these days.
No, he's not been well. Yeah, he's not been well. I've heard he's had a lot of health issues, William Regal. That's why we haven't seen him. But yeah, he's still around. Massive part of the WWE Development Centre as well, like a big deal there. Very much a big part, instrumental part of that, I believe, and I'm sure he's going to have a big role to play in the UK, NXT UK as well.
Yeah, definitely.
So there we go.
And he's making some sort of announcement, but of course we don't have the sound on, so we'll just...
It's, I believe it's about the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes. It's about they're gonna make that first ever tag team tournament up. I believe that's what it was, which was the first one. As we see Byron Saxton, one of my favourites, and of course Corey Graves at this point, Matt. Now I know people are a little bit hot and cold on him recently, but back here, Matt, he was very original. We were hearing things.
I was a big fan of his work.
Yeah, we were hearing things that we hadn't.
He was being himself.
Yeah.
But now he's very much aware of his presence on social media and that, and goes out looking to actually get himself talked about a lot of the time.
It's a problem, but he was saying things that we kind of just were thinking, which was good. We could actually relate it a little bit, which was nice. And how times have changed, I guess. Now, who we got here, Matt?
The NXT, the Tough Enough finalists, of course, and only one of them would be relevant, wouldn't they?
Yeah, absolutely. You're right. It didn't end up very well, this one, did it?
No. But when you look at it, look at the four finalists there, and was her name Sarah Lee? She would go on to win it.
Mm-hmm.
But that's why I don't want to say it, but you can't trust the general public. Someone may be very lovely, very nice, but they may not have their heart in the business. And unfortunately, that's when the Dream, he was in this season as well, but was eliminated before this point. And he had the whole problem that he didn't believe anyone should be in the competition that didn't have a passion for wrestling, didn't know the history of the business. And, that kind of led to him being eliminated early on, only to have him come back and be probably the strongest contender that should have won it, really.
Now, Matt, I'm going to cut you off there and break you to something else here. This is going to make me sad because Baron Corbin here, Matt, we're watching the video package between him and Joe, but here, Baron Corbin was such a big thing here, Matt, in NXT. He was just starting to make a name. He was coming across as quite a bad heel, like a guy who didn't really have a passion for wrestling but had done everything else. That was kind of the story going into this, and he was trying to sort of make headway with Joe, like, you had to come to WWE and you wanted WWE. And I remember in Joe's part of the promo, he was like, they called me, actually. I got the call in and I'm here because they wanted me. But this was very well done. In fact, all these promo videos were very well produced, Matt. as I recall. They were excellently done, well edited, pretty much still are today in NXT. They're better than the ones we see on the main roster. Quite frankly, I don't know who's doing it down there, whether it's someone that's working, is studying at Full Sail, because I know they use a lot of those guys, but it was really, really good. But Matt, what about this time then? Here we got Samoa Joe, like you say, fresh off of coming from TNA, in against Baron Corbin, who was very, very, getting into his stride with his character.
Yeah, and it was a tough one to call. I mean, I know Joe's supposed to be a big, dominant guy coming in, from the outside of TNA and that, but, the way that Baron Corbin was carrying himself at this point was strong, and the hate from the fans was real. Yeah. I think, people listening at home, you're going to hear some chants here that aren't very PG. I do remember that, and to get that kind of hate from the fans, you're definitely doing something right. And I definitely like this Baron Corbin character more than I like Constable Corbin. That's for sure.
God, I don't want to. Yeah, I was just going to go into that. It's not even like the same guy to me. It's that bad. But yeah, what a shocking turn for him. Recent times, he won, didn't he? Yeah, he won the Andre Battle Memorial match, and then that was it.
I don't know.
The accomplishment.
I wonder
there.
if it was that chant that we heard when people started saying he's going bald, and then like a couple of months later he shaved his head. It's like got to him.
Yeah, straight away. This was a cool entrance. I mean, again, everything was done well here with all the entrances and the way they got these characters were down to a T. Everybody was really invested in everything that was going on from these the stars at the time. And like I say, I mean, even the way the camera is shot there on Baron Corbin, they never keep these things up when they go onto the main roster. I don't understand why they don't take some of this, and you'll notice that a lot of the camera angles are completely revamped when they get into the main show on Raw and stuff like that, and it's all very generic. But it's a cool idea, because Baron Corbin's tall, but in order to enhance that, you do it from looking upwards. And it's an old trick that they used to do with guys like Psycho Sid and other wrestlers like that. And it's a small thing, but it does go a long way to make you stand out. And little things like that get lost. I love that jacket there as well. I don't know where the hell those got that from, but it's a cool jacket.
Yeah, I think he borrowed it from Mad Max.
Yeah, you'll be right. So it's just stuck. It's like my version of the hardcore belt. It's chaos done well. And now we see Samoa Joe. Now, lots of different arguments for him, Matt, whether he's been successful on the main roster since this, but this guy's super talented, Matt. I mean, he has been around the block even at this point, Matt. We know what Joe can do. He's Ring of Honor, he's TNA, he's earned his lot elsewhere, but to finally have him here, he was very much over at this point, Matt. He was a baby face coming into this, and fans were really into Joe. I remember just being super into him, and they did a decent job with his music even as well. Like, they made that decent for him, which is good.
Oh yeah, and so much so that the fans have become an integral part of that. I can't hear his music without hearing, like, in the back of my head, fans chanting Joe.
Yeah.
So they did a good job with that. I mean, but I think for Joe, there was always a gap for him, and I think he's always going to have a place there as long as he wants it, because any feud, he's good in any situation. You can put him in the Intercontinental picture, you can put him in the heavyweight picture, any sort of picture you can imagine, or like even they had the angle where he was aligned with Triple H, because you put him in a feud, he is a legitimate threat. Even if he's lost for 3 months straight, say, we all know he's a dangerous guy, and we know they've done a good job of protecting his finisher, that's for sure. As soon as that gets knocked in, that's the end of the match. So he's definitely always perceived as a threat, and all it takes is one title reign, he's back up there, legitimised.
I hope we get his first WrestleMania next year as well, Like, he certainly deserves that spot, so I want to see him on. So had really bad luck with injuries around that period, hasn't he, Matt?
Oh
yeah. As we see these guys, this was a physical battle, as I recall. But yeah, like you say, people were not taking kindly to Baron Corbin, and part of it was the fact that, you know, he would use social media and he would say, like, wrestling is not my passion, I'm not that bothered about it, I'm just that good, I'm that talented, but I don't really care. But it got up people's skins, because here's a guy like Joe